Hey, did you see the brand new spy shots of the new Mustang? It actually looks interesting. Yeah, I did see them, but a part of me is kind of worried because I think it might just be electric. I think that'd be a huge mistake. Well, what if you could have both? What if you had electric and combustion? Okay, maybe I can get down with that. Let's talk about the S650. Before we get started with today's video, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor, Titan. When it comes to investing, you might know your strategy today, but things can change in an instant. Nobody has a crystal ball, but you can have an expert investment team on your side. Titan wants you to be the smartest, wealthiest investor you've ever been. Titan is the first investment app to have a team of experts actively manage your money in a way that hasn't been available to everyday investors before. Whether you have money invested in individual stocks or passive index funds, right now is the time to diversify. In times of chaos, it can be riskier to do it on your own. So why not take advantage of a team in your corner whose full-time job is to assess macro trends, war inflation, and commodity prices every day? And all it takes is $100 to get started. Deposit your money, select your portfolio, and that's it. And Titan's team of analysts will allocate your money. And not only that, Titan aims for a 15% annualized return over a 3+ year period net of fees, which would imply doubling your wealth every 5 years. So right now, if you use my URL, which is linked in the description below, titan.com/blue, you'll get the first 3 months of active investment management for 0 fees. That's titan.com/blue for 0 fees. So the S650 Mustang has finally been leaked. Well, a little bit. A little while ago, some spy shots have been revealed, but I wanted to give it a little bit of time to kind of let it marinate and let it settle and get some information out there. And also just talk about some of the rumors and the speculations of this Mustang. And honestly, before we get really into the nitty-gritty of the S650, make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment down below. It really helps me in this beautiful YouTube algorithmic world that we all know is so predictable. I don't think the S650 is all doom and gloom. I think there's some really interesting ideas about this car that are coming, but at the same time, there are some things I definitely want to talk about that I don't know how to feel. The thing is I've been talking about Mustangs since the very beginning of this YouTube channel. And look at this freaking video of me talking about the 2015 Mustang all the way back in 2013. Yeah, my presentation was not the best, just standing in my front yard at the time. But it's funny to look back at that video and look at all the predictions that became true. Well, here we are in 2022, and I think the S650 is gonna be essentially an OEM plus version of the S550, at least at first glance. Now the S550, when that car came out, it was absolutely hated. The backlash was so insane. I remember people saying it looked like a Honda Accord or a Ford Fusion, especially compared to the 13-14 Mustang generation. People loved that car. Even though it was live axle, it still had a great look to it, and that's why I still have mine, Smurf, to this day. I love that car. It's one of my babies. But in hindsight, it's probably the most successful Mustang maybe of all time when it comes to the aftermarket and how people feel about the Mustang. It was easily accessible horsepower, a reliable engine, and with minor aftermarket aesthetic mods, you could really make the S550 your own. And my S550 is easily one of the best cars I've ever owned. I basically did that entire car in 3 or 4 weeks, aesthetically and with bolt-ons. 470 to the wheel with 3 bolt-ons and 500 horsepower with the 85. It doesn't get much better than that for the price you pay for the S550. And not to mention, you can do almost everything to an S550 on like 1 or 2 websites. You can't say the same about doing old JDM cars. JDM cars are a lot more difficult to build. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So basically with the S550, in my experience of reviewing them and owning them, it made me a believer. I think it's a great platform. So now that we have some context, let's talk about the S650, the evolution of the S550. There's some cool renders online which offer some interesting ideas, but what's more accurate to the real deal? I really hope this isn't the car. I hate this massive grille that's rumored to be coming out in this car. It's just so square and boxy. I just can't get with it. And I feel like we've all learned from the new BMW that you don't overdo the grills and look like SpongeBob SquarePants, which I love you, SpongeBob. It's like my favorite cartoon ever, but come on. It looks like somebody went into Photoshop and just stretched it with a liquefy tool. And the S550 grill is already big enough. It's massive. Like, I don't see the need to do this giant square looking grill. It just, I just don't know. There was this one render online, which I know isn't real, but it had some Mach-E influence to it. And it presented some interesting ideas to kind of make the Mach-E a coupe, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I'll go back to that in the Mach-E later, but let's talk about the interior. We have some solid interior shots of the brand new Mustang. The Mach-E steering wheel definitely gave this one some influence. Flat bottom steering wheel, a little bit more modern look to it. Sure, we can't see it with all the tape, but we can fill in the blanks in our head. We're not that dumb. The shifter is definitely an S550 automatic transmission shifter. The digital dash will probably be standard this time on this model, but I hope we have some physical knobs for climate control, which seems to be a big ask nowadays. Look, I love screens, they're great. I love digital displays and all that, but some cars, especially like the new Golf R, when you have to go through like a menu to do the freaking AC and heat, it's just annoying. I want a physical knob, but looking at these spy shots, it looks like it's gonna be too much to ask for a physical knob to turn climate control, which kind of has me, okay, it's not catastrophic, it's just an inconvenience. It is cool at first to have a screen to do everything, and then later you're just like, wait, I just want to be, it's burning up outside, I need AC right now. Give me that max AC button, that's all I need. But the interior overall looks pretty solid. Looks like an upgrade to the S550, and I'm happy with that. That's fine. There's also some weird leather pad next to the driver that looks like you'd like rest your knee on it, but that's definitely not a knee rest. Well, I hope not. It's just kind of exaggerated. So if anybody out there knows what that is, maybe it's just some dude's iPad and a super nice leather thing. That's an exaggeration, but let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, the drivetrain. How is this car going to be powered? But the main expectation is the current lineup we have already. The Coyote is an amazing engine. The EcoBoost is stout for some fun. And the GT500 Predator engine is just intense. I cannot describe to you how bananas the GT500's engine is. Got that roller coaster feeling. I mean, the one I reviewed had 3 bolt-ons, it made 930 wheel. It was ridiculous. But honestly, the GT500 on track bone stock actually impressed me more than the high horsepower one I drove, because it just showed how great of a track car it was. But I have a feeling we're gonna see some form of electric version. That's just a gut feeling, but I just don't think I'd be that surprised. But there is a rumored 6.8 liter V8 being built in Canada, completely a rumor, but that would be really interesting to see a completely new engine platform in the Mustang. I mean, I love the Coyote, but if the Coyote was that good, how would a brand new engine be? I'd love to see it. But I'd also love to see the 7.3 Godzilla engine in a Mustang. That would be so rad. It would be such a different possibility, right? To have an aftermarket of a 7.3 liter. That'd be so amazing. And the Godzilla motor has proven that it takes boost like an absolute champ. And it would just change things up. It would give the Mustang kind of a new flair and a new reason to get the new car, rather than be like, oh, it's just like an upgraded version of the old car. I'll just stick with my old car. I don't think it'll completely replace the combustion one. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think there's gonna be a time for that quite yet. They'd be absolutely insane to get rid of combustion motors for the next Mustang, and I just don't see it. The R&D costs, all that, it wouldn't make any sense, especially that people still haven't fully really accepted the Mach-E yet. Like, we'll get to that later. And there's also rumors of an all-wheel drive model, but I think that's kind of a fever dream. If this is gonna be basically the S550 upgraded and it uses the same chassis, I don't really see that being a possibility anytime soon when it comes to just basic gut feelings, right? Because they would have to develop a whole bunch of new things to make that happen. That's in a perfect world with a ton of expensive R&D and an engineering nightmare. So if there is an all-wheel drive model, it'll be completely separate from the rear-wheel drive model, in my opinion. But I also think that this iteration of the Mustang is gonna be a long haul. I think it'll be one of the longest generations we've ever had. Personally, I think they'll use this next one for probably 8 to 10 years because this is gonna take a ton of R&D. The S550 was a great platform to begin with, and the S550 proved how much potential that platform had. The GT350 with its amazing driving dynamics in the same chassis as the GT. It didn't even feel like the same car. And then you get to the GT500 with 760 something horsepower and it still could handle it. And it handled it like a champ. When you put that in the live axle cars, it's a mess, and it's a fun mess, but it's an absolute mess. I think this could be truly a blank canvas for Ford to see what they can do with the S650. Ah, that's a tongue twister for some reason. S650, S650. Unique New York, ow now, brown cow. Ford's renaissance was around 2015 to 2016, in my opinion, with their hot hatches and the incredible GT350, with how unique that engine was. But this could be all new rebirth of the Mustang brand to branch out to a different driving style. The Mach-E, for example, I still don't like that it's called a Mustang. I remember going to a private unveil of the car and I asked the designers the hard-hitting question: why did you call it a Mustang? Because I personally think the Mach-E is a great name. They said there could be a Mustang for every occasion, you know, like there's a Porsche for every occasion. And my response was, you don't call the Macan the Porsche GT3 RS. Like, it's just, why would you do that? I understood what they're going for, but now maybe this is the chance to do that. Maybe the 650 is the chance to have a Mustang for every occasion. You have the electric one as the one to go to work in and be your daily driver and have the stupid acceleration off the line. And then you have the combustion one as the track day car and the fun car, or the go out on the weekends car for the Sunday drive or your cars and coffee, or to throw a big blower on it, or whatever you want to do. The passion will still be there with the combustion engine because you could still mess with it. At this point, fine. If there's an electric one, fine. Like, as long as we still have the fun combustion engines with the great V8 roar, that's awesome. I still wanted that 4-door Mustang rumored to be a new Ford Falcon, but you know, that was the Mach-E, so that's how that turned out. You know what's really sad though? The Mach-E is like a really good car. It's just not a Mustang, but it's a really good car. Honestly, what do you guys think about the S650 Mustang? What we know so far? What rumor do you want to be true about this car? I'd love to hear you guys say in the comment section below. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy and have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Big announcement, super proud to announce my first ever merch collection over at ThatDudeinBlue.com with designs I'm super proud of. So for my first ever collection, make sure to head over to ThatDudeinBlue.com and consider supporting the channel. And thanks so much for the support.